many of the scenes that you see in the film, in the movie itself, the church that you see there was used for the famous cherry scene that featured Jack Nicholson. We're going to start with the opening credits of the film, and right here, see that? That's where I'm standing, right underneath those letters. They used a helicopter flyover to film the overhead bird's eye view shots of Cohasset Village, and that's where we are right now. And if I turn the camera this way, you're going to see exactly where this was taken, right there. So you can see the back there. There's the house on the left, and let's get it in focus first. But there's that house, the White House on the left, and right here, this is exactly where they were set up to film that famous sidewalk scene. And if I turn the camera back here, you can see the tree that's almost in front of me. There's sort of like a knot right here on that tree. Well, this is where you see Michelle Pfeiffer standing at that tree, right at that knot, and it sort of lines up with the church right there, see? She's leaning against the tree there. There's the church in the background. Here's the three actresses lined up against that tree. There's the church again in the background. Give you a little bit more perspective that way. This is the close-up of their feet as the sidewalk starts to rumble and quake as it splits open. Now, they had to build that sidewalk. That sidewalk was built specifically for the film at that very spot, and then of course removed after the film was shot. And there's the sidewalk sort of coming up full force. You can see, again, using the church as a guide there, you can see the three actresses running into the distance away from the sidewalk. Another scene that was filmed here was the famous feather scene where Jack's blown into the church, and here is feathers, a church in the background. And if you can see the door of the church, here's my finger to point, right there. You can see the front door of the church on the bottom there. That's where Jack was blown into. This corner here, which is the corner of Highland and Beach Street, and Beach Street was also used as for one of the scenes. If you remember, Cher and Michelle riding bicycles down a sort of a country road. Well, it was filmed down that street where that car is just coming up now. And if I can turn the camera this way, and this is one of the shots I got of Cher. And it's sort of, now the house on the right is, back then was brown, but now it's white. But you can see Cher lined up right about there at the curb of that house. There it is, there she is. Yep, that's probably the exact spot I took, right at the corner of Beach and Highland. And there's Cher getting ready for, I think the bicycle ride scene is where she was getting ready for. And down in the corner there, the house on the left, you can see it, that's the director George Miller setting up camera shots. And this, you can line this picture up with that house right there, and that's where he was. That must be the telephone pole right there. And so he was standing right over there. And that house there, that house doesn't change much. On the far end of this house, turn the camera a little bit, you can see on the other opposite end of this house here, you can see the crew set up right about there. That's about right there. You can see the crew setting up with the director George in the back of the truck there, and looks like they're getting ready to film that bicycle scene. And right there on the right is the Eastwick Town Hall. See that? And there's the Eastwick Town Hall right there. Probably get a little closer. But that's what that was just used as a backdrop. They didn't really use that for anything other than just to help identify the area as Eastwick. The Eastwick Town Hall. And that sign there that's hanging there is actually, or was, I don't know if it still is, but you can see it inside the Cohasset Historical Society. Sometimes they have it on display, but they changed the displays around, so it might not be there now. But if you ask, you might be able to take a peek at it. It looks like this might be the corner where Veronica Cartwright. Oh yeah, there it is, because there's the house in the back. It sort of lines up with the house in the back and the pathway there. And there's a close-up of Veronica Corny here. You can see it lines up with the pillar that's in the background. That thing right there, that's the pillar, and that sort of lines up with that right there in the picture. So that was filmed that way. You can see the walkway to the right off her shoulder right there, and then this is her now walking away. Move the camera a little bit, and you can see we lined up right there at the cross, and there's Veronica hobbling away back toward the house where we were earlier, and there's the V in the walkway there where it comes together, and there she is walking away after arguing with her husband. And you can see the pond and the church in the background, and the pond in the foreground, the church in the background, and the little girl that runs by the screen in the beginning of the movie. That shot was taken right here. You see the church in the background. Church in the background. It's all overgrown with trees now, but you can see that lines up perfectly to that. You can see the little girl over there by my thumb, above the D in Devlin, and she's running along that sidewalk.